Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. If you're returning, and hello and welcome in if you are new. I'm Danielle Henfield Pardo, your Caribbean travel specialist, and today is the final video for our experience with Virgin Voyages.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready?
So, after 4 detailed videos, we are at the final day. This is day 5. And if you haven't seen it because you're new, the links are all in the description below. Make sure you check them out. In keeping with the rest of the videos, I want to give you the final thing that really happened that made me say, you know what? No, definitely no boats. So it was another field trip 2 years later, or rather, I think it was a year later after the funeral situation. I was actually with my biology class, and we were doing another field trip from Middle Caicos to another island, East Caicos. Now, the water over there is really high. Now, Middle Caicos and East Caicos is basically where the whales pass, so you can actually be like on the dock. In Middle Caicos, there is a jetty or port that goes out into the water where you can actually do whale watching from, because the waves do get really high. On the second day that we were there, we spent the whole day at East Caicos. Now, East Caicos is not inhabited, but it has a lot of like nature and greenery and a lot of indigenous plants and stuff like that. So that's what we were actually investigating. So what happened was, we spent the whole day, we kind of like packed lunches and carried everything. We did our explorations and all that, and the boat was a small boat. Coming over was fine, no issues there. Everyone was able to come over. It was 2 trips, everything went well. So in keeping with coming in, since everything went well, we were like, okay, fine, 2 trips again. Who wants to go first? Who wants to stay behind? So myself and another friend, we said, you know what, it's fine. Like, everybody else can go, we'll go last. So it was us and the guide and the boatsman. So us 2 students, the guide and the boatsman. So we waited. Boatsman went over, took the first trip, no problem. Came back for us. We started going, and we get in the middle again, and the engine cuts off. Only this time, it is a lot worse than when we got cut off in between North and Middle Caicos, because that water wasn't as high. This is the water that whales swim in, and at this time, tide was high. So we're drifting, and then after drifting for about 10 to 15 minutes, the boatsman was like, you know what, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna see if we can get to another little key in between where we were. So he kind of like had just using his arms and kind of steering the boat towards the beach. Listen, y'all, we had to get out, and if he had gone across this island, he was saying that he could get to the other side of the island, then he would be closer to a point in Middle Caicos to where he can actually swim it. Yes, actually swim. Okay, so we had to get from one side of the beach, because it was a very small key, because it's not large, from one side to the other. And he said that he would be able to swim back to Middle Caicos to get another boat and another engine, someone to come over and bring another engine so that we can have for this boat. So we get to the beach, y'all, and I am short. I like to tell people like I'm super tall. I'm whole 5'3", but that's short in comparison to my friend who was very nearly 6 feet, if she was not 6 feet right on the money. Listen, when she got out the boat, the water came up to her shoulders. I don't catch her to her shoulders. So I should have been paying attention there, because we were on the beach. This is not, we're like almost, we are literally on the beach and the water is this high and everybody had to get out of the boat. I got out and I went under, y'all. Now listen, I already told you it caught her up to her shoulders. Me, it was over my head. So I was tipping toes on the beach, fully in all of my clothes and my shoes. And this water is over my head. And let me tell you, I am panicking. So once we actually got to the part where we got out of the water, because we literally had to climb up. This was in a flat portion, so it was like the beach and then a rock formation, and we had to climb up the rock formation. And yes, if you're wondering what we did with the boat, we were just walking under it, but the two men, they were carrying the boat. What's that called when you get out of the canoe and you have to walk it across the island? That we had to carry the boat across to the other side, and then we had to build a fire. The guide, he stayed with us while the boatsmen swam back to Middle Caicos, and as you can imagine, that took some time, and we didn't have cell phone service over there. Okay, so as all of this is happening, there is no communication. So can you imagine, the teacher is there with the rest of the students because she couldn't go and leave the students, but she couldn't let the students go and she wasn't there. So either way, it was only one teacher to about 8 of us, I think it was. So therefore, she had to go, someone had to go with the first group, and in light of everything, someone had to stay behind. Either way, she's panicking because she has no communication. That's 2 students. Okay, we were the more mature class, so she was able to trust us more, but you can imagine what she was possibly thinking, along with what parents might have thought if she had to make that call that, you know, hey, 2 students are missing. Needless to say, we got in so late afterwards, because he did make it back to Middle Caicos, and then he did get another captain to come bring him out with another boat engine, and we had to go, but we were hungry. I'm sure if that was something that you had experienced, you would have thought the same thing with me. Listen, I really thought like the water had something in for me. Like this is not it. Nah, that's a risk. That's a risk that I'm not willing to take. So I was saying, no, you are never, ever gonna get me on a cruise, because no sir, I ain't gonna be stuck on no water. That's too far out. That is too far out, and I definitely can't stand under that. But now you've heard the full story, including all of my water trauma. I was so deathly afraid of what could possibly happen that I limited myself from experiencing an awesome trip. An awesome experience. And I don't want you to do the same. But that's neither here nor there. Let's go back to day 5, our final day. So as you can imagine, from day 4, we had a lot going on again, but we made it to bed relatively early. And what we did was we opted for a later checkout. Now, a lot of people did leave kind of early. So what you could do is you can do the bag service where you have your suitcase packed and outside of the door from the night before. It has to be by 10 p.m. in order for the porter service to pick up your luggage. Or if you are like us, we just wanted to enjoy the time, so it was nothing for us to just take our suitcase ourselves. So we just took our time with everything. We slept in a little bit later, got up, got dressed, went to take our fabulous final photos because I wanted a photo in my shirt, and I wanted to have, or we wanted to have, the iconic Virgin sign, and to give a last walk along the runway. And we did that. Then we went to have our final breakfast on the ship, and we breakfasted at the galley and had French toast, powdered sugar, fruit, and we did omelets as well as our main. They did have scrambled eggs and bacon and stuff like that were quick and easy for you to just grab and go. This was the day that we had wanted to do the wake on, but because they only had really early options, we kind of dined or breakfasted at about 8:45. So stomach's still not really awake, but it was close enough to my time that I definitely just wanted to indulge for breakfast, because this was the first time that we had breakfast there. We had done restaurants and Grounds coffee shop for our quick pick-me-ups when it came to breakfast the other days. So, and razzle dazzle. So there was definitely no opportunity for us to have breakfast up there. And we did French toast, and it was good. It wasn't the wake French toast, but it was good. And after breakfast, we went back to the room, grabbed our stuff, make sure we had everything, left a note for Addy because he was amazing the whole time, and we disembarked. Not a lot of fuss, not a lot of fanfare. The line wasn't bad because they had it was good crowd control basically, because everyone needed to be off the ship by 10:30, and the line wasn't horrible at all for people who were disembarking. Quite a bit of people had left early because they had flights and stuff like that you needed to catch. A lot of us kind of just took our time. One thing I would say though, because it was closer to the time when everyone needed to be off the ship, the elevators were quite full, very, very busy, up and down. So in some instances, we kind of, when we were coming from the galley, which was on deck 15, we walked downstairs to deck 14 in order to get the elevator there, because the elevator from deck 15 was just horrible. So when we got off the elevator, really what I was just doing was every time I stepped off the elevator, I will kind of send it up to a different floor, whichever floor that I got it off from, I would send it back up, just so that the next person would be able to have it readily available. It really was bittersweet as we got off and was going through, and customs was such a breeze, because again, everything was done through the app for us. So it really was just you're good to go. Just step in, let's see, make sure that you are who you say you are, and you're good to go. The only part that I was really sad about, and it really was optional, but I do love all of the things that Virgin stands for in terms of the sustainability practices that I have. And one of them was that you recycle the band. So you can see how much I'm posing. I'm sad because the band had become my best friend. That I could do anything with just the swipe. Listen, it was optional, but in the end I did want to recycle my band because sustainability, I want to encourage that. So I did give my band up. So that is the last day of the trip, so this may be the last experience video, but this is definitely not the last video. I will be adding a few more videos to this series about what did I pack, what the things that I needed to know as I prepared for the ship. If you're like me, you like to plan your vacation, so I wanted to know what I needed to wear, what I needed to pack, what to expect from Embarkation Day. I've laid most of it out for you on our Embarkation Day video. If you have not seen it, go on, you gotta catch it from the beginning. I will be including videos about tours of our actual room, the size of the bathroom, the pros and cons. Love the balcony, but there are also other rooms available, and we had the opportunity to walk through a mega rock star room, and I have the video of what that looks like as well. These other short videos will be under this playlist, and if you're not subscribed already, why? You have to subscribe so that you can be aware for when that content becomes available. Hello. It's going to be fabulous. It's going to be very informative. This channel is about sharing experiences and truthful expectations of rooms and resorts. And we will have more videos uploaded for you soon. So if you like this type of content, hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss anything.